It's been exactly a year since our employers told many of us we had to go home and do our work on Zoom. Has it caught up with you yet? That Zoom anxiety and Zoom fatigue has certainly caught up with a lot of people. Joining us now, Kelly Hausman, a therapist who's here to talk about what we can do. And I think one of the first things that you want to talk about is the problem here, Kelly. I mean, the fact that on these Zoom calls, we're way, way closer to each other in many ways than we would be in a room, right? Talk about that.
That has been really tough because, again, we could normally put some distance between us, but with Zoom, we are up close and personal with many of our coworkers that we might not get this close to. And another thing that's really coming up a lot in my therapy sessions is self-consciousness and anxiety over our own looks, because we never see ourselves so much as we do now on Zoom and FaceTime. And so it's bringing out a lot of insecurity and anxiety with people from that front as well.
Yeah, Kelly, so interesting. So we're forced to look at ourselves and really see how other people see us when we're in meetings. It's almost like someone's holding a mirror to us the whole time we're trying to make a point in a meeting, right?
Yes, and it can be really tough because we can tend to nitpick every single perceived flaw that we see that, again, normally we would never see our face this much ever pre-pandemic. So I tell people to have some grace with yourself right now. And just also a nice thing is I'll have people cover their little box with a sticky note. So that way, if you're focusing on yourself so much and you have to have your camera on, sometimes just covering up your little box with a sticky note so you can't focus on yourself throughout the meeting can be a big anxiety reliever.
Yeah, Kelly, another piece of advice that you give is to not sweat the small stuff. You're going to make mistakes in conversation. You're going to mispronounce something. You're going to get a little something wrong. It doesn't mean that the whole world is pointing at you. They're in their own world as well. Any other parting advice that you have for people?
It's normal to be nervous. I think it's strange. A lot of us don't do meetings like this. And so Zoom is still awkward. It can still bring out those nerves. So doing whatever you have to do before a meeting to prepare, whether it's deep breaths, listening to your favorite music, just getting in a good headspace before you go into a Zoom meeting can be helpful too.
Kelly Hausman, mental health therapist. Good advice. Thanks for joining us. And by the way, for those who are actually heading back into the workplace, there will be some adjustments there too. Right now, you just hit that red N button on Zoom and you can move on to your next task. But when you get back into the office, the art of small talk, well, you'll have to brush up on that once again, beginning and ending meetings the way you used to.